Tina, come home. There's nobody mad at you. My arms are open. The pets are missing you. I just can't go on not knowing. Even if you just ring the guards, let people know that you're alright.
In March 2017, Tina Satchwell vanished from her home in Youghal, County Cork. Her disappearance puzzled a nation and devastated her family. For over 6 years, her husband, Richard Satchwell, maintained that she had left voluntarily, but the truth was far more sinister. Tina Satchwell was born Tina Dingivan in 1972 in Fermoy, County Cork, a quiet town nestled in the heart of Southern Ireland. She grew up surrounded by family, in a place where everyone knew your name and neighbours still looked out for one another. In the early 1990s, Tina moved to England, where she met Richard Satchwell. The pair quickly became close, eventually marrying in 1991. Their early years seemed uneventful, a normal couple, navigating life together in a new place. But behind closed doors, things were not always easy. Family members would later describe Tina as increasingly isolated, kept apart from her siblings and friends. In 2016, after years in the UK, Tina and Richard relocated to Youghal, a picturesque coastal town in County Cork. It was meant to be a fresh start, a quiet life by the sea. But within a year, Tina Satchwell would vanish without a trace. And from that point on, the line between truth and deception would blur, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a family desperate for closure. The 20th of March, 2017. It was a Monday. According to Richard Satchwell, it began like any other day in the couple's terraced home on Grattan Street, Youghal. The couple had reportedly gone shopping at a local store that morning. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Later that day, Richard says he stepped out of the house to run a few errands. He claimed he was gone for less than an hour, but when he returned, Tina was gone, along with 2 suitcases and, allegedly, €26,000 in cash. But strangely, her 2 beloved dogs were still in the house. And so were her clothes, her makeup, her passport, and her phone. Richard would later say Tina had spoken of needing time away, that she was feeling overwhelmed. He waited 4 days before reporting her missing. To the public, it sounded like a voluntary disappearance. But to Tina's family, it made no sense. The case remained open, but inactive. Years would pass. Rumours spread. Theories blossomed. Some believed Tina had chosen to vanish. Others suspected the truth was much darker and much closer to home. Behind those walls, secrets were buried, and Tina's story was far from over. In the weeks and months after Tina's disappearance, her name faded from national headlines. No CCTV, no bank activity, no phone records, no witnesses. The Gardaí did what they could, combing through the area with sniffer dogs, drones and divers. Searches were launched across Cork, Fermoy and even parts of Tipperary. But every trail went cold. No forensic evidence, no sightings, no clues. But questions began to surface. Why had Richard waited 4 days to report Tina missing? Why did she leave behind her dogs, the animals she treated like her children? And where exactly was this €26,000 she supposedly took with her? Behind the scenes, Gardaí kept watch. They spoke with family, friends, neighbours. They quietly monitored Richard. But with no evidence, no body, and no crime scene, they couldn't act. Richard maintained his innocence. He claimed Tina had mental health struggles and that she'd gone away to clear her head. He insisted she was still alive and that she simply didn't want to be found. But Tina's loved ones never gave up. They kept her name alive in the media, online, in every small act of remembrance, because they believed deep down that she hadn't disappeared willingly. For 6 long years there were no answers, but in October 2023, everything changed. Armed with new intelligence, Gardaí returned to the Satchwell home. This time, they weren't just searching, they were excavating, and what they found rewrote everything. On the 11th of October, human remains were found concealed under the floor. Later that week, dental records confirmed what many had feared for years. The body was that of Tina Satchwell. She had never left the house. On the same day the remains were discovered, Richard Satchwell was arrested. The man who had claimed for years that his wife had simply walked away now stood accused of her murder. In court, Richard claimed Tina had attacked him, that he acted in self-defense. But forensic evidence, hidden searches on his computer, and the elaborate concealment under their home told a different story. In May 2025, Richard Satchwell was found guilty. For Tina's loved ones, it was the justice they had waited years, for though nothing could undo the silence, the lies, or the loss, Tina Satchwell was more than a headline, more than a missing person. She was a sister, a daughter, a woman who loved her dogs, fashion, and seaside walks. For 6 long years, her voice was silenced, her story dismissed, questioned, doubted, and all the while she was hidden, just a few feet from where she was last seen. But in the end, Tina was found. The truth, buried deep, finally came to light.